Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to our podcast, Titans of Industry. We have our CEO here, Esteban. I love the pause, right?
Yeah,
Esteban here, joining us. Suspense. We have to build suspense at some point. So we're here to talk about a new law just came into effect 6 days ago. We are actually really covering. We have an article already going. We have some reels that are going to come up, and we have this podcast to inform all of our viewers and all the different homeowners, realtors, contractors about the new changes on ADUs. All right. So the first question is, what is AB 1033, Esteban?
AB 1033, the new law that was just passed, I guess, in these last few days, is an upgrade to the original policy for ADUs, which is essentially allowing you, in theory, to sell the ADU separately from the main house.
Okay, and let's go straight to our audience. Why is this significant to a homeowner like myself?
Well, to a homeowner, it's very soon to say, right? Because the law has been passed at a state level. It's still early. They have not officially released at a local level how the regulation will work. Basically, planners still need to decide where the ADUs will be allowed to be sold separately from the main house, if there's some certain characteristics. And so it is kind of early to say how it will affect homeowners, but in theory, some homeowners will be able to sell it as a condominium, as I'm understanding, right? Where they still own the land, but they will be able to sell that individual structure to a new buyer. And so making some of their investment back that they, put up in the first place to build the ADU. But there's still a lot to go into, right? To see, well, what is that appraisal going to look like? What is the value of that?
Exactly.
And again, is it going to be restricted to only low-income buyers? So we still have a lot to figure out at a local level. But hopefully, it's going to be an opportunity for a lot of Californians.
Also, obviously we've been with ADUs since 2016, so we know the different changes that have been happening every year pretty much. And one of them, it's very major because homeowners always ask about those things, and it's the parking restrictions, right? When they have an ADU, in the past, they have to have a parking for that ADU as well. What are the changes that we're noticing now with this new law too?
Well, they're continuing to become more lenient, more flexible on not requiring parking. But again, this is all going to depend on where your property is located. Are you close to many high transit zones where you will not need technically a vehicle to encourage more of that public transportation? But again, as of right now, it's not all set in stone. But in theory, they will reduce the parking restrictions while you're selling that second unit. But there's probably pros and cons to that because maybe a new buyer will want to have some type of parking space. So again, we're going to have to see how this all rolls out, and it might not be a one size fits all.
Right, exactly. And speaking about new buyers and new renters as well, right? Because that's the main reason why a lot of the people are doing ADUs, is to be able to rent it out. How do you feel this will impact the people who are looking to be able to rent and the people who are looking to rent their own ADUs?
Well, the possibility that I'm looking at is maybe the individuals that are housing family members. Sometimes there's a situation where I've seen people build for, again, an extended family member or even children, right? Your parents. And so maybe in the case of children or an aunt or an uncle, they could, after you build the unit, they could purchase it, take the responsibility of the debt, make the monthly payment, and each individual person owns that specific their specific share of the property. I've also seen where there's, let's say, a big family and one specific kid wants to build on the lot of the family, but the other siblings don't agree, and in that situation, if they don't agree, they wouldn't be able to build there. But in this situation, that specific sibling could just build their own ADU, pay for it themselves, and it's completely separate from the lot. Right. So it would allow people to kind of find areas to compromise. But again, we have to see how many ADUs can we add, how will it be valued, what happens to the current land value. So again, we have to see how all of this is going to be, taken by even the lenders, right? That have most of the time there's loans against these properties.
Right, exactly. That's another point that we're going to touch base on a different podcast. But one of the things that I think is important to mention as well, and this is for the whole state of California, specifically, the main areas where, LA, Bay Area, San Diego, where we work the most. We know then, the housing crisis is huge right now, what's happening, right? So how do you feel this new change in law? Because, ADUs have been evolving, these new laws have been evolving every single year. So how do you feel this new change could actually help or affect the supply of housing in California?
Well, overall, I believe this is in combination of other laws that are already going on, right? There's the SB9 lot splits, where you have the option to split a lot or not, just split the actual property itself, turn it into a multifamily building. You have the ADUs on multifamily properties. You have now this ADU AB bill that can sell the ADU separately. But before that can become a positive impact on housing, the lenders and financing need to catch up with state policy, because they need to work in basically in conjunction and together to promote more of that building, being that a lot of homeowners are looking for financing on these type of projects.
Exactly, and that's also important. You mentioned lenders. There's another list of people that we have always asking about these new changes, which are the realtors. What does this mean for the realtors? Because I do feel that this law, yes, it benefits the homeowners, but it can also help and benefit the investor as well. So what do you feel from that, and for the realtors, for the investors, how would this benefit them?
Yeah, for realtors, I think it's like for us, right, having more ways to provide value to your clients, especially in a market with very high interest rates that already kind of make people hesitate, less qualified buyers. So this could open up a new avenue for people to participate in this market, or feel motivated or incentivized to participate in this market. But at the same time, for investors, it really, I mean, for most savvy investors, it's going to come down to what it always does, which is the ROI, the numbers, and so doing the proper feasibilities. So I think it's important to have the right team. That's why we provide those services from A to Z to still analyze any deal and not get too excited about new policy, but make sure that it fits your needs.
Fantastic. Okay, and do we have anything for contractors? Do you think they will help the contractors as well? Or no, it will not for them?
Definitely. I mean, the right builders that are being involved the way we are, and we have our research and development team to find more ways to impact or provide services to our clients, and then we create processes and systems for our sales team to be able to talk to our clients about this, create new marketing campaigns to reach the right people to get the information to. I think for contractors that are built professionally or have a professional system, they can again use this as a way to help more people build ADUs.
Definitely, there's a role to play for contractors as well.
Yes. Definitely.
Now, in a nutshell, to be able to give us a conclusion, how will this new law help everybody, so that way the homeowner can see it in this 30-second elevator pitch?
Well, in the elevator pitch, in a nutshell, for California, these are laws that have not been seen ever, and the fact that you're able to essentially carve up a single family into multiple units with no parking or very little parking, new financing, sometimes 100%, is really unheard of. And it's an opportunity for our generation, being that inflation and the cost of living is so high, to participate and create housing, but also make a living and create some generational wealth.
Excellent. Thank you so much for being part of our podcast.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Take care.